Well, today is Labor Day, but I decided to knock out a couple of these decants that I have. Want to talk to you, and I believe I maybe have about 6. And these may have some similar notes, but that's really not going to be my focus today. My focus is going to be from favorite to least favorite, or vice versa, least favorite to favorite. Excuse me. So this is your first time, welcome to Smells Like Paris. And if you're returning, welcome back. So today, let's see, where do I want to start? We'll start with, and as you can see here. So let's start. Let's start with Rosendo Mateu, which I have the number 5. But today we're going to talk about Rosendo number 3. I guess that 3 is way on the other side. And this one here, it has some neroli, it has iris, white musk, and I'm reading a little bit because there's a lot I want to say today, so bear with me. And but Rosendo, he passed on, and as I may have talked to you guys earlier about him from his number 5 that he had. But this is powdery, and it's really focused on iris, which happens to be one of my favorite, as well as my wife's favorite note. I love jasmine. I like Clive rose as well. But today this is centered around an iris. Is citrus and vanilla and amber. The all-time favorite, again, like I said, is the number 5. When I had that on, one of my coworkers said, "I smell like $1,000,000." But this one, I would say, I wouldn't possibly buy any more than the decant that you see here. It didn't really turn me on, or that may be an old term, but it didn't really do anything for me. There are better irises out there, so I would say I'm not here to offend anybody if number 3 happened to be one of their favorites. Just wasn't a favorite of mine, so I would say get a decant just to try it, just to experience it, but it's among the least favorite. Okay, and I'm gonna try to push along here. This next one we're gonna do, let's see. Let's see, Matsukita. Matsukita. Some of the names are rubbing off. This is a Clive Christian, and Clive Christian fragrances, and I go back 24 years ago when I purchased number 1, 1872 and X, and number 1 being my favorite. It was touted as being one of the most expensive fragrances in the world, and it even said that on the box. But I would challenge that today with Spirit Dubai, which has a fragrance that's well over $1 million. So Clive, you got some stepping up to do. But without further ado, this Clive Christian was launched in 2021. It's a woody, spicy, and citrus white floral. Also one of the least favorites, and there are better fragrances, I believe, from this house, but this just isn't it. And some of the prices are just outrageous for some of the stuff that they're putting out. And I think they're taking advantage of us who are willing to shell out hundreds and even thousands of dollars just on a single purchase, a single bottle. So we have to be aware that there are wolves out there, and try to keep our wallets, or as a female, our purses, our credit cards, our hard-earned dollars close, because they're after it. But this one here has Chinese jasmine. I really didn't pick up much, or I can even say jasmine sambac and jasmine glamiflora. I may be pronouncing that right. But I'm not really familiar with Chinese jasmine. It also has balsam fir and jasmine tea. I did kind of pick up on. It's a little smoked over birch. But as I said, number one, 1887 and X, those were my favorite. So this is going to be a hard pass on this one. Like I said before, get you a sample just to experience it. But I believe I've been in this 50 years. I would not steer you wrong. As back in the day in Detroit, I'd say we steer you strong. So I'll tell you, don't waste your money on that one either. And let's see. It's coming up. Here's another house. I do believe maybe my notes are somewhere. But anyway, maybe I don't have my notes here for that. But it was a hard pass. I don't even really want to get into this one. This one here was, if you're seeing some of the influencers or on the YouTube channel, please, if they tell you that this, and they could possibly, everybody's taste is subjective, but I know bullshit when I hear it, and I definitely know bullshit when I smell it. And this house, I do like. My first experience with this house was a fragrance called Nimmer. And then Blue Sapphire was pretty good. But this one here that I'm gonna talk to you about is a recent release. I don't have my notes, and it wasn't even worth bringing up the notes. So this here is over $1,000 fragrance, and it's just a complete full of bullshit. And it's called Dragon. Do not waste your time on this piece of shit right here, okay? Don't do it. I'm telling you, it's garbage. It's worse than the last two that I just talked about. You're not, and I don't look for compliments. I can compliment myself. I know when I'm smelling good, and I know when I got some crap. And I can even appreciate a fragrance that I don't like, but you still will know the quality when it's there. Quality is, it's okay, but I want to keep in line of what I'm saying, that whoever the perfumer, and I'm sure I had it written down somewhere, bullshit. Okay, coming up on a couple of the favorites. I do have the notes. Now this perfumer, I didn't purchase much. I don't even have the original bottle anymore, but I had to get a decant because I believe it got discontinued as soon as it came out, and I don't know why. I didn't care too much for his other offerings, but I believe this may have been one of his first, at least it was for me. And it's called Payon Rose de Kandahar by Andy Tower. That was a good one. It was launched in 2013. I believe when I came across it, and sorry for the noise, but where I live, 4 or 5 hospitals just right in the area, so thank God I haven't needed one, but if I ever do, well, right down the street. But again, this one here is the top notes. It's almond, apricot. You got cinnamon, which I don't really pick up much on. I do pick up on the apricot and the almond. It has bergamot in this. There's a rose and a beautiful tobacco leaf within here. Geranium, ambergris, and ambergris. You may know that ambergris is actually whale vomit, but it doesn't smell like whale vomit, whatever that smells like. But this is, ambergris is a very sweet smell. And just so happens that the very first time I ever heard of ambergris was in one of my favorite movies, Silence of the Lambs, where he goes in a store and he buys some lotion and he lotions his hand and they're trying to discern who this serial killer is. And they're sitting around smelling something, and one of them said, ambergris. And I just had to find out what ambergris was, but it wasn't until many years later that I discovered that fragrance and where it came from. And there's some vetiver in here, there's some tonka bean and some musk. But like I said, Andy Tower did a wonderful job on this. This is one of my favorites. Coming up next is an all-time favorite. I even have a little bit, I may have spoke to you before in my previous video about this, but I just thought I'd wanted to see if the newer version, if it had been reformulated. I was told it was by some of the reviewers, and then I was told by Guerlain's boutique that it was not. They now have an straight version. I may pick it up. The price damn sure did jump up. It jumped up from when I got my 75 ml bottle back in 2014. I believe it was like $250, $275. They have the straight, well, then they have and it's in a different bottle, but the newer version bottle, I believe it's like $535, and then if I were to pull the trigger for the straight, I think it's like $700 and something dollars. So it got to really come at me, but I just might do it for memory's sake. I came across that when my mom passed away, and I wore it to the funeral. So every now and then when I think of her, and we both I share a birthday with my mom, was born on her 18th birthday. So sometimes when I think about her, and I have a birthday coming up in a matter of a few weeks, and I may spray some on just for the memory's sake. But that is Tonka Imperial. And this is by Thayer Wasser. It's a bitter almond, rosemary, bergamot, tonka bean, tobacco, and again, there's a jasmine. And if you want to get me, you just put some jasmine in there. You got me. And there's a little bit of frankincense in there, and I love frankincense, and cedar is in. I don't know if my nose pick up on the pine. It doesn't. Some people do say that it gives a Christmassy feel. I don't know, perhaps. But again, Tonka Imperial. And last but not least, well, this is last, and so it is least. This just recently come out. I'll grab my notes here. Okay. This one is absolutely, this one I would say is full bottle worthy. This is a safe blind buy if you decide to do it. And it is called French Defense. The name may have rubbed off on there, by Mind Games. And it was launched in 2023 and the perfumer is Christelle Laprade. There's a beautiful cherry note in here, and my wife, she loves cherry blossom. Tom Ford gets a lot of credit for coming with the cherry, and then everybody else started trying to fall in line with that. You had Lost Cherry, Smoked Cherry, and another one. But this, oh boy, it has a beautiful top note of cherry, of violet leaves, chamomile, which gives a green and spicy. Then it has rose, and geranium mimosa, which is sweet and a little powdery, but I didn't get a lot of powder. And in the base, we have amber, musk, and it can be a little animalic, and it's blonde woods. That's probably coming from the moss and cedar wood. This, to me, is a 100% hit, a home run. and it lingers for hours. I would say it's a dark, sinister cherry. And I like dark and sinister. And it lingers, and it's straight, so it doesn't take much. And it's a competitive price. I think it's full bottle worthy, and I would say test it. It's a little sweet, but trust me, if you like compliments is coming your way, brother and sister. So there you have it. Mind Games came out on top. French Defense. And that's it for today. Hey, thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed Labor Day. And by the way, this morning I went to work only to discover that I wasn't scheduled to work. I really did want to work. But hey, I get paid anyway. So I came on back home and decided to just put this video together. So if you really enjoyed this, I hope you did. And I'll see you in the next video.